RevLimit, we taking the crown. Kentucky tonight, we running this town. Watch the engines roar, hear the tires howl. Chat trying to control, but we breaking down now. Hit the track, feel that nitro flow. Underneath the lights, it's a hell of a show. RevLimit Workshop, we in the zone. Precision mechanics, man, we laying the stone. Taking cues from the masters, we busted through. Chasing that speed like it's deja vu. Turning left and right, wheels on fire. In Kentucky tonight, man, we shooting higher. RevLimit, taking the crown. Kentucky tonight, we running this town. Watch the engines roar, hear the tires howl. Chat trying to control, but we breaking out now. Chat think he the boss, but he missing the point. Trying to pull the strings, but we out of his joint. With his clipboard ready, but the car's gonna swerve. You can't tame the wild, gotta let it preserve. We're shifting gears and we taking the lead. Chad on the sidelines, planting that seed. But we're running free, can't cage this beast. Our passion's on full, ain't never been least. RevLimit, taking the crown. Kentucky tonight, we running this town. Watch the engines roar, hear the tires howl. Chat trying to control, but we breaking out now. Regulates, we're setting it loose. Race in our blood, ain't got no excuse. Kentucky's the heartbeat, the rhythm's alive. We fly so high like the stars in the sky. So let Chad watch close while we take this turn. The RevLimit family, man, it's our time to burn. RevLimit, we taking the crown. Kentucky tonight, we running this town. Watch the engines roar, hear the tires howl. Chad trying to control, but we breaking out now. So they ask, but we make the call. This RevLimit Workshop, we gon' give it our all. So step back, Chad, and let the racing commence. In Kentucky tonight, we're making a dent. RevLimit, we rise and feel that adrenaline in this race of life, and we always gon' win. RevLimit, we're taking the crown. Kentucky tonight, we running this town. Watch the engines roar, hear the tires howl. Chat trying to control, but we breaking out now. Look around, just through the asphalt, we make the call. This RevLimit Workshop, we gon' get on. Step back, Chad, and let the race commence. In Kentucky tonight, we're making our dent. We RevLimit lit, in this race of life, man, we always gon' win.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Kentucky Speedway for the Battle of the Bluegrass State 187 here in the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by DesignPing. My name's Alayton Norgard. Joining me in the booth is William White as race control, along with Robert Not Clear Hill manning the cameras. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, going good. Ready for round 2 of the points racing here for the RevLimit Workshop Development Series. I'm excited. I think I want to say we've shaken off the kind of opening round heebie-jeebies after what was a fairly chaotic affair last time out at Chicagoland. It's a Kentucky, very fun track. Produced a good race in the next-gen cars in the Cup Series earlier this season, so I'm hoping for another good one.
Alayton, what the heck is that supposed to mean, not clear? Jeez, Kel Pocock violently wrecked me last night. But, guys, let's get to the starting grid. Why don't you lead us off there, Alayton?
Yeah, starting in first with the 40 Raceway pole is Presley Sora. In second, we've got Jay Connor. Cale Pocock in third, Michael Hosek in fourth. Row 3 in fifth, we got Gavin Hibbs and Jess Story in sixth. Dylan Javier in seventh. Sean Leisure in eighth. Tom Bourne in ninth. Mark Rabilas in 10th. 11th is Caleb Pecumer, and 12th is Joe Francis. Will, you're up next.
Yeah, got Dan Martinez for Fueled Up Racing as Josh Clark for Pride Racing, serving an EOL penalty, but he did set the 14th quickest time, with Andrew Hardcastle rounding out the top 15. Connor Thompson for Shift is in P16. Kurt Gibson and Justin Vandermeer making all Fueled Up row 9, with Frank 30 for Lake Norman and Harrison Talon also for Fueled Up, rounding out the top 20. Dustin Dewar is in 21st for Do Good Motorsports, with Gavin Higgins qualifying 22nd, Jacob Adams and Dominic Wright for Abbott Motorsports, round up the top 24.
Starting 25th is Rob Mooney for South Shore Racing alongside Carlos Acosta. As apparently I just put myself in the car here, guys. 27th, Mitch Javier. 28th, Miguel Carrera. 29th is Chris Albrecht. 30th, Jaden Bersemus. 31st, Jesse Cottrell. Dave Huckleberry, 32nd. Shane Mitchell and David Woods making up an all BOR row 17. Drew King with an EOL penalty. He qualified 35th. And Darby Marriott gonna start in position 36. Alayton, finish it up, buddy.
37th, we've got Pierce Hausler. 38th, Josh Osborne. Austin Inabdit in 39th. Cole Bear in 40th. Joseph Costello in 41st. And Ty McIntosh rounding out the field in 42nd. However, Ty is not actually on track, so he will not be taking the start here. Let's go ahead and get some predictions for the race here. Will, you want to take the first one?
Well, Presley Sora had a brilliant showing last time out on his development series debut. Took the flag after having gone way to the mid-pack in what was a fairly, as we said at the top of the show, chaotic affair. Hard to bet against him this time, but I'm going to change things up. Cale Pocock is going to be my pick. He's spoken to us personally later, obviously we're on the same team. As Cale, about his strengths that he has at Kentucky Speedway, and he's shown it here, qualifying a solid P3 as we're now underway here. Single file, in the top 3 here. So my pick's going to be Cale Pocock, I think, in the number 6.
How about you, Robert?
Definitely a solid pick there with Cale Pocock. I'm going to stick in the top 10 as well, but I'm going to go back to the guy that nearly won the truck race on Sunday. Just came up a little bit short. I'm going to go with Tom Bourne in car number 16 as Cale's falling back just a little bit here. 3 wide in the middle with Jess Story and the 96 of Gavin Hibbs. Alayton, who's your pick to get it done here tonight as we work our way on lap number 2?
You just said his name, Gavin Hibbs. He's my pick for the season champion. And after the week that he had last week, race he had last week, he needs to kind of have a solid one here to recover from that. So can't get more solid than a win.
Definitely cannot get any more solid than a victory here as these guys trying to single file out up towards the front of the field. First bit of side-by-side we see here, guys, is Andrew Hardcastle up top. Daniel Martinez down on the bottom. Now looks like Gavin Hibbs going to take a beat to the inside of Michael Hosek for the 3rd position as well. Hosek doing a nice job up here. Great qualifying effort for the Covered Bridge Racing. Number 24, Michael Hosek up here towards the front. And battle's on for the lead, Alayton.
And just as you were mentioning Andrew Hardcastle, he did get into the wall off of turn 2, and there was no netco contact, so that bug seems to have been fixed. We should have a much cleaner race here this week. But yeah, Jay has gone to the outside of Presley Sora for the lead. I could see a pass working up there. It's not going to be super easy, but they definitely, as with any track, get the better run off the corner. So as long as they can maintain position, and he's leading Michael Hosek around through too. So that draft is, I think, working against Presley Sora here. We'll see if he can get some off of Jay down the straight at all, but he could be falling back. The top is looking a little bit more dominant than I would have expected.
Yeah, I think that's just part and parcel with the aero package that we've got with these new ARCA Series cars. We saw, obviously the inside, generally the quicker way around the track, obviously you're doing the shorter distance around the racing surface. But as you saw, Jay Connor and Michael Harsine go bumper to bumper on the outside there, and down the straight, they just blew straight past Presley Sora. Gavin Hibbs was following in tow as well down the back straight, but the 95 managing to pull up in front of the 96 and kind of prevent himself from getting freight train there. But down 2 spots now for the pole sitter, as Jay Connor now assumes the lead of the race here, now looking behind. So there's a three-way fight here between the 51, the 19 and the 12. That's Dominic White way upstairs there, with the 19 of Jaden Racimus and the 51 of Harrison Talon as well, with Mitch Javier. Oh, Miguel Carrera, pardon me. Not Harrison Talon.
Oh, contact! Jesse Control, great save!
Wow.
I want to take a
It's the
look at
first
that
time I've
one
ever
again
seen
here,
this new
guys.
ARCA car get loose, I tell ya.
Watching the 33 of Jesse Cottrell here in the middle, Mitch Haver on the bottom, Dominic right up top, Haver up into the left rear. A little bit of netcode there too, but Jesse Cottrell does a phenomenal job of saving that. He's able to continue on. And guys, I just noticed something looking at the leaderboard. Tom Bourne is on the move. He's already up 5 spots here, currently sitting in position number 4 and looking for a little bit more.
Yeah, Tom Bourne is definitely one of those guys that does not have a ton of patience in these races. So he's going to be looking to make some aggressive moves early on, I think. He's able to get around Michael Hosek on the outside of Jay Connor now. Speaking of which, it looks like Presley Sora did make his way back around to the lead, both Hosek and Connor. But Gavin Hibbs going underneath for the pass makes that one stick. We'll see if Presley is able to come back on him down the straight, but no, it doesn't look like he's closing it all. So Gavin Hibbs up into the lead.
Yeah, I've already seen a good half dozen lead changes already between Presley Sora, Gavin Hibbs and Jay Connor just inside the first 10 laps here. So definitely this new ARCA car with the aero packages producing the sort of constant lead changes that we like to see. As Tom Bourne there, just with the aero, just with the slipstream, didn't necessarily have the best run off the corner, but he has all the slipstream that he needs. Goes right to the inside of Presley Sora. He's now going to hang on the left rear. This should bode well for if he can get nice and late on the brakes. But now here comes Jay Connor to the outside, looking to hang on the right rear of Tom Bourne. The aero really working, not really in the favour of any particular driver, but it definitely ebbs and flows, and it's creating some brilliant racing definitely here in the early stages.
And just behind where the camera was just looking, there was Sean Leisure poking his nose in 3 wide with Dylan Haver and Jess Story, and that was a very near incident, but managed to keep it off of each other and stay going straight. Jess has fallen back a bit from that. He was the bottom car in that 3 wide. So it's definitely seeming like the bottom is not where you want to be if you have any kind of contest for your position.
Just taking a look at a couple guys that have been on the move here so far. Gavin Higgins, he's up 14 spots. Started 22nd, now sitting up in the 8th position. So a great opening 10 laps or so there for Higgins in the 20 machine. He's going to be one to watch a little bit later on, but what we got to watch now is the battle for the lead. Once again, Presley Sora down to the inside of Gavin Hibbs. It's a battle of 95 and 96 for that top spot. And don't count out Jay Connor either, as he looks to the high side now of Sora. That's your battle for the top 3 positions. Another driver to keep an eye on a little bit further back, though. Jacob Adams up 10 spots on the day, currently sitting in the 13th position. He's going to be one to watch a little bit later on once that pit strategy comes into play. Sora into the wall. He soared a little bit too high there. Got some right side damage on the 95. Hopefully he's able to recover and hold on to that position as he battles side by side with Tom Bourne.
The one thing I did notice when running some laps in practice here is that with the kind of speed that you carry through the corner here, the car really wants to track all the way to the wall. So that may be another factor working against these cars trying to defend on the bottom. They can't go all the way up. And we've got an incident.
Late Norman on
Mitch Xavier and who's that other car?
Mitch Xavier and Austin and Abnett. That's some Lake Norman on Lake Norman violence right here. That's something that's coming a little bit too often as we take a look on the robotics photography replay machine. And Abnett down on the apron here. Just no space to come back up. His teammate Xavier just holding that yellow line, and Abnett forces his way back up. They come together. They're going to spin on the apron. We nearly got away without a caution, but the rear end of the 58 slides up just a little bit there as the 72 machine of Darby Marriott goes on by, and that brings out caution number 1 here today. I'm going to be interested in seeing how Williams scores that, because just looking at it, Alayton, I mean, the 60, yeah, he needed some space to come back up, but the 58 didn't have to move for him.
Yeah,
so
but
I
at the
think I
same
would
time,
put
the
that on the
58
60. I don't know. How would you rule that? Will's muted, by the way,
It
so we're
looked to
not
me-
influencing this whatsoever.
It looked to me like the 58 came down below the yellow line, which you don't need to do. The shape of the apron in that particular part of the track is very strange. It goes up farther than you would think, going down the straight. So it does make some sense for Mitch to go down further, but at the same time, I think he had plenty of room above him. There wasn't a car there, so why do you need to pinch that much this early in the race?
No, I definitely get that. It's going to be interesting. Will, you're back with us. What was the ruling on that incident right there between Haver and Abnett?
It struck me as a very weird incident to have. I think Austin's made the move to the bottom, and I thought, judging by where we'd cut to on the broadcast, I thought maybe Austin's just got into his left rear. I kind of looked at it, I thought, Mitch shouldn't really be pinching that hard. Austin is the one that's kind of gone into his left rear, has kind of tracked up a bit. Obviously, he's taking under the apron line, which is obviously perfectly legal, and the way the apron is here at Kentucky, right, kind of is a very weird shape going into the second part of the tri-oval. It just seemed to me like a bit of an odd conversion, so I called it a racing deal. Neither of them have any big damage, but as I came back, I had Alayton saying definitely should be pinching that hard too. I would agree. I think what I would say is generally, I think just more room needs to be given. I think for both parties, that's just a silly incident to be having this early on, because it's now dropped you both well out of position. You know, Mitch is down to 37th, Austin's down to 40th. So
Well,
I think that's a bit of a silly one, to be
I
honest.
want to add one more thing to that too. You know, obviously you say it's a bit early, and that's amongst teammates as well. That's definitely not a situation you want to get into with your teammate. Give each other a bit more space, and both of them are easily able to make it through that one. I don't think either one of them really has any extensive damage, so it's more of a bruise on the ego than anything else. But you got to be aware of situations like this, especially as they move up through the ranks in Elite, going up to Trucks and Xfinity and Cup. You definitely don't want to be getting into those situations.
One
Yeah,
thing
no,
that
I
Caution
definitely
has-
agree.
One thing that Caution has done for us is it's set up a split strategy, almost split down the middle with the field. The first 12 rows, 24 cars have stayed out. Everyone behind them has come down for tires.
Danny
So
Martinez,
it's
the
going to
first
be-
car on tires in 25th.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this plays out. Here, coming back to the green flag. I don't know how much tire drop-off there is. When we were doing some practice, Cale Pocock said that there wasn't a ton, so could just make passing a little easier. We'll find out here very soon, though.
As the field comes off at turn number 4, headed towards the start-finish line in the Geico restart zone, the 96 of Gavin Hibbs on the loud pedal. We're back underway here as the field going to set their sights on turn number 1. Let's see if we can make it through and get another nice green flag run in here.
Yeah, there were a lot of close calls in that first run, but I think these guys have it in them to kind of settle in and log some laps. So it'd be amazing if we saw a green flag stop here. We've got a long enough race to let it happen, so let's see it, guys.
125 laps, by the way, is the distance. There's 5 sets of tires, 4 available in the pits for these drivers. So a lot of rubber, a lot of laps. Should be a good one here.
Definitely, and I think we have definitely good strategy windows as well in this race. I think got some insider info just before the green flag, dropped around 50-55 laps is around what you're going to look at for a full tank of fuel here. So definitely could open up some interesting strategies. It's guaranteed 2-stop. You won't quite make the 1-stop work on fuel mileage, but of course cautions and exactly what lamp you choose to pit on could definitely shake things up towards the later stage of the race. So we'll have to wait and see in that respect.
These fresh tires aren't making any rapid moves towards the front yet. Daniel Martinez is still running in 22nd. I think he just moved up into 21st. But one thing I did notice with these tires is that they do take a lap to get some heat in them and get to their full speed. And we are now 2 on our 3rd lap under green. So 2nd or 3rd, I think 3rd. So he is back on the back of the pack and is going to start making some moves here, along with Jacob Adams right behind him. Well, Jacob is on old tires as well.
Yeah,
Dan
Jake Adams,
Martinez
they're
is
20th.
first. Oh, no, Jacob is on new tires. I'm wrong.
That's okay. It's all right to be wrong sometimes. As we take a look back up front, Gavin Hibbs leads by 0.2 over Presley Sora. About 0.8 of a second back to this absolute gaggle of
Got a
race cars.
spin off before.
Getting sketchy.
Shea Mitchell.
Oh dear.
David Woods involved as well. Some more team-on-team violence towards the back. Tom Bourne had an off-track moment there. I believe he was just involved in that incident. Let's take a look and see what happened. Looking at Tom Bourne in the 16 machine. That's Shea Mitchell to his outside. 16 looks like he comes up a little bit, collects the 98. Sorry, that's David Woods, not Shea Mitchell. I think you made the same mistake there, Alayton. Yeah, Shea was okay. So it was David Woods and Tom Bourne coming together. I believe David Woods probably going to pick up a penalty just due to an unsafe pit entrance of sorts by spinning down there. And looks like the rest of the field going to come down and take their pit stop. So now the back half of the field should become the front half, as I do expect a couple of guys to work their way up. Dustin Doerr staying out on the racetrack. Josh Osborne going to stay out as well. So it'll be a Dustin Doerr, Josh Osborne front row for the upcoming restart. We're going to go ahead, step away, take our first commercial break. When we come back, we'll have a bit more here of the whatever the heck this race is called, 187 here on the Elite Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning 3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series Playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels. Accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
All right, we have 1 to green, and Bull is back. And what is your call on that latest incident?
Well, you see it on the screen there. First tally of the night for the number 16 of Tom Bourne. Just very easy incident to have. Just tracked up into the left rear of the 98 of David Woods and caused them both to spin. But there you go. You do see on the screen again. He did just a minute ago vocalize intent to appeal the decision, which of course he's well within his right to. For us watching at home, of course, any tally issued is, you can appeal it. You feel the race control call is somewhat contentious. So Tom is exercising that right to appeal. So that will be reviewed by an independent panel post-race. But for now, he does carry 1 tally. What that does mean is if he gets a second one, he won't be parked under normal rules. But if he does get a third one, he will. So that does change things a little bit for Tom specifically, but it doesn't make him immune as such because he's appealing as well. Now just come to the restart.
Yeah, coming into the restart zone, the front 2 cars of Dustin Dewar and Josh Osborne are the only cars still on old tires, so that could make this restart very interesting. There's going to be some fast cars behind them that want to get going, and they're going to be in the way. And that can have bad results, and already a yellow, not even with those 2.
Oh, goodness.
That's a big one.
Bye, Will.
Bye.
All right, so that was a big one there. Take a look, see what happened. Gavin Higgins involved. Jess Story going to be involved.
Sounds like the start of it was with Michael Hossack, potentially.
That is indeed what it's triggering for me here. Let's see. Oh, no, that absolutely not. That was a stack up. I believe Pierce Hausler actually is going to be the one to stack up. That's going to lead to a domino effect behind these guys. Watch that 61 in this, even actually ahead of Hausler. Is that Rob Mooney that just doesn't get going on the start? I believe it is.
I mean, there's enough of a gap in front of the 61. Did he just miss a shift there, potentially?
We can ride on board. Let's take a look. He just kind of bobbles. Oh, he does miss the shift. You're right. Yeah, good call, Alayton. That's absolutely what happened. So 61 misses a shift, and then they just stack up behind him. You see behind Jay Connor, Hossack gets in it. That's Andrew Hardcastle hard in the wall. Jess Story through the infield. Gavin Higgins going to be involved in there. Cale Pocock, Carlos Acosta. I believe Dave gets a piece of that as well. Let's take a look and see. Dave Huckleberry. Yes, he definitely does. So let's take a look here at Huckleberry, the 52. He gets into Hardcastle, grabs a piece of the 1 and the 02 there of Acosta. So unfortunately for Huckleberry, going to pick up quite a bit of damage on this one. And you know, we kind of mentioned the fact that we were concerned about Dusty and Josh staying out, and they weren't involved in this whatsoever. So luckily for them, they were able to continue on without too many issues. And well, under this caution break, of course, do want to give a shout out to RevLimit Workshop. Check them out over on X for all your custom design and logo needs. Let RevLimit Workshop know that ERN has sent you, and DesignPing. DesignPing is a design agency that specializes in creating websites and digital content that not only look incredible, but also enable your business to outperform all of your competitors. Make sure you check out designping.com to learn more. Will, you have returned. What's the call, good sir?
Just another racing incident. Is surprisingly easy to do on restarts to have these stack ups. So Big domino. That's a good way of putting it. Big domino. A concept with Tina. Some people in the elite circle might call it. But yeah, just another racing deal. Gonna be a bit more lenient on the big dominoes. As much as I don't like to change my rulings too much between series, it's the dev series. These are gonna happen. I'm willing to show a bit of leniency for concepts with Tina and that sort of thing. So call it when a racing deal will get going again. Hopefully we don't see too many more of that.
So a couple drivers still on pit road, by the way. David Woods, Joseph Costello, and David Huckleberry all currently sitting on pit road at the attention of their crews. We'll see if they're able to work their way back out. Higgins, Hardcastle, Acosta, and Racimus have all returned to the racetrack. So still 41 cars of the 41 on the lead lap as we're working our way down the back straightaway. Going to get set for the upcoming restart. Dewar and Osborne on the front row once again, Alayton.
Yeah, coming back to turn 3 here with 1 to green. I'm a little afraid that we're going to have a lot of stack ups as long as these 2 cars are in the front row here, especially on the outside. Just with old tires, you can't get as good of a start to begin with. So Osborne is going to have his hands full trying to react to Dewar quickly enough to keep these guys behind him from stacking up, basically. But coming into the restart zone, gonna see how it goes. Dewar gets a good jump. Osborne does well. Doesn't fall too far back. Kind of chopping down a little more than I'd like to see. Was about to be 3 wide, but damn, Martinez, another yellow.
Oh no! Piers Hausler, I believe that is. I saw spinning
Piers
down.
Hausler,
towards the
Sean
bottom.
Leisure.
Right there.
Bye, Will.
Bye.
We'll take a look at the 61 of Hausler here. Looks like this is where it's going to trigger. 49 of Leisure into the left rear of Hausler. And that's going to put us in our caution once again.
Yeah, that just looks like someone on fresh tires or someone feeling like they're faster than a car in front of them just going for a move that wasn't quite there.
Yeah, I'd agree on that. I think it's probably going to be a tally on Sean Leisure, but nonetheless, we'll see how it goes. But let's hear from our friends at Blue Egg.
To win the Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Fueling big to win big. Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Ooh, ooh, big. Cup. To win big, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big. Ooh, win big.
We're back here under yellow still. I don't... Are we 1 to green? No, we're not yet 1 to green. We just saw Dave Huckleberry coming around the track in his modified. With the way that he hit those cars, Sorry?
That was David Woods, sir.
David Woods, not Huckleberry. I'm sorry. With the way that he hit those cars, I didn't think he would have that much damage on the front end still, but he clearly does.
Yeah,
But,
he's a wee bit broke.
Yeah, He's coming back to pit road for some more repairs with 1 to green, so he's going to be in danger of losing a lap.
Hey,
here,
there's debris on the front straightaway. Do you guys see that at the top of the racetrack?
Maybe that's still David Woods' bumper.
Well, if
And on the
David pays me
bottom.
enough, I'll add a pace that.
There's debris everywhere. Hey, Will, what's the call on caution number 4, sir?
Call on caution number 4, tally was issued for the first time, as you see there on your screen, to the number 49 Sean Leisure. Just kind of donked the back of Pierce Hauser and around she went, and yellow was brought out. Pretty slam dunk on that one. Nothing intentional, particularly egregious or negligent by Sean, but just gave him a little donk and around went the 61.
Just
and
a little donkaroo.
Little donkaroo, exactly. There you go.
Yes, sir. Just taking a look here, guys. Dustin Dewar, Josh Osborne, Jacob Adams, Dan Martinez, Tom Bourne. Still the top 5 as the field's working their way through turns number 3 and 4. Coming back to the green flag once again this time. Dusty's stacking up those laps led just because they keep wrecking behind him, but nonetheless, we'll throw it back to Alayton for this upcoming restart here.
Yeah, just to finish up a thought I had before that yellow came out, Dan Martinez had an opportunity to take these front 2 3 wide into turn 1 and thought better of it. So I just want to give him credit for that as a judgment call. But back under green, Dusty gets a good jump. Josh Osborne gets a good enough jump to clear down below him, or behind him, in front of Jacob Adams. So that's putting him in a lot better position than I expected. I thought we'd have cars flying by through 1 and 2 just with how old those tires are by comparison, but with all those yellow laps, they've cooled down quite a bit and clearly have a good amount of grip left in them. Almost 3 wide, a little further back with Frank Fody, Dylan Haver, and Chris Albrecht, but that gets sorted out safely. 3 wide with Mark Bilas, Connor Thompson, and not sure who that other car is.
Presley, I believe. Presley saw a 95 working his way back through the field. Got pole, dropped back a bit. He's now flying back towards the front. I see just on the top left there, Josh Osborne's dropped down a couple spots. He's now scrapping with Dan Martinez. David Woods here, back in his modified, is coming back down pit road, presumably for more repairs or to park it for the night. That thing does look pretty banged up, but we're looking offset 3 here. We're looking 3 wide here. Literally 4 wide. Presley had a little looky. That is the draft package we're working with here with these new ARCA cars. They love to invite this 3-4 wide racing sometimes, but we're starting to calm it down a bit now. Couple of laps on the restart here. Corner into the back of Caleb Pacuma. He's going to save it, but it's getting dicey all around the midfield here.
Yeah, you could see coming out of 2 there with Presley on the bottom of 3. He had a good run through the middle of the corner, but had to lift off quite a bit to not get in the cars on his outside there. These cars just like to push up on exit, and if you've got someone on your outside, you can't use that track, and it's going to cost you a lot of time. Chris Albrecht diving down 3 wide. Can't make it stick at all. He just drops back immediately. Josh Osborne, though, has lost, looks like 6 or 7, 8 positions now from the restart. I think that's just the beginning with those tires. Once everyone's up to temp, I don't think he's going to be able to compete with these cars with 20 lap fresher tires.
Oh, well, that might help his case. Jeff Story has pounded the wall. That is huge damage to 92. He was talking under caution. He said he wants to go run in another league where they have a lot of crashing. He's got his wish in Elite tonight. That thing is absolutely destroyed. I don't think he's going to be doing another lap tonight. As well, I'm off again. I've got work to do. I have a little analysis of that particular incident.
It starts with the 11 of Chris Albrecht.
Mitchell almost went upside down.
Yeah, Chris Albrecht loses it ahead of these guys. Actually looks like he gets... Oh, man. He gets hit a couple times here. Even. Looks like he gets tagged by Austin and Abnett here. That's the 60. Yeah, the 60 dives it in.
Oh, yeah.
Snaps into the 11. The 11's just trying to catch it. Shea Mitchell, huge impact there. Jess Story absolutely dies. Like, he's just dead. That's all that is right there. Call the coroner's office because he's done. He absolutely demolishes the wall. Demolishes Harrison Talon on the inside too. Rob Mooney gets involved. How does Mitch Avir get involved in? Oh man, they wrecked behind these guys too. Pierce Hausler gonna get involved. I think Mitch Avir might arc a break into this potentially. Yeah, they're checking out for the caution. He just no, he doesn't arc a break. He arc a breaks himself.
Breaks. Just can't keep it straight while braking.
The 61 of Pierce Hausler gonna get involved in this incident as well. Let me try to find Pierce though. There he is. He gets involved with the 17 of Cole Blair or Cole Bear. Yeah, 17 kind of double arc breaks this incident. The caution comes out. Does the 61 just slam the brakes though? No, he checks up slowly. 17 into the back of him and then into the side of him there. So Colbert going to get involved in this one as well. 40 laps in, 86 laps to go. William White, what's the rule in there, bud?
Yeah, caution number 5 ruling was a tally on the number 60 of Austin in Nabnet. Very similar incident as I vocalized to the drivers to the last incident between Sean Leisure and goodness, I forget who now. But same thing of just slightly braking a little bit too late, and getting on the anchors, not quite in time, not anticipating the checkup, and around went Chris Albrecht, and that caused the big melee behind them. So it's a tally on the 60 of Austin and Abner.
It looks like Jess Story's hanging. He was hanging out in the waiting room. He ran away. I was going to pull him in here for a quick chat with you guys, but he has departed. So never mind. Rest in peace, Jess. As we'll go 1 to green here, getting ready to go green this upcoming time by Jacob Adams. Dan Martinez going to be row number 1 now. Josh Clark has driven from the rear of the field up into the top 4 as he'll restart alongside Tom Bourne. Dylan Haver in 5th. Frank Foti 6th. Presley Sora 7th. Caleb Becumer 8th. Gavin Hibbs 9th. And Connor Thompson in the top 10. Shout out to Kurt Gibson, by the way, currently sitting in the 11th spot. Great quiet run for him here tonight. Those quiet runs are quite often the ones that you want to have. It means you have not been involved in any of the incidents so far.
Yeah, for sure. I had a thought, and it's just totally left me.
2 + 2 does equal 4.
Okay, I've got it back. I wonder if Chris Albrecht kind of lifted a little earlier for that corner as a kind of reaction to him sending it a bit too hard a lap earlier and just losing tons of ground. I don't think he's at fault for anything there, obviously, but I'd be curious if that kind of played a role in his side of things. But we are coming back to the green, coming back into the restart zone. All the cars have taken at least one set of tires now. I think some might have be on their second at this point, but I'm not positive. But Jacob Adams takes the green. Good start. Good start from Dan Martinez next to him, able to slot in front of Tom Bourne. Already single file through now 6-7 cars, just about. Presley Sora up into 6th place, and he's going to be looking to get back to that lead pretty quick here. I think he's wanting to make a statement with this season as not just as a veteran elite driver in Indy, but also as a real-life Barker driver. I feel like he probably feels like he needs to prove something, that he's better than these guys that don't do it for real.
Definitely doesn't want to get bested in essentially his own machinery, of course, that he drives in the real-life Arkham series, as he has got 2 poles on the season, I do believe. Certainly he's got the win at Chicagoland to round off what's been a perfect season so far for him. Of course, looking to go 2 for 2 tonight here at Kentucky, but he's got work to do from P5, but we know he has to pace further back. We've seen 3 of best racing. That's Michael Harsack and Dominic Wright there downstairs, and blinking for the Canadian in between that 3. Why that might be a bit scary, but they all look to have fanned out and we're chugging good for the minute. Still 3 abreast though, with Michael Harsack in the middle, and Dustin Dewar that now is in 32 on the top of the track there. Now 3 abreast between Dominic Wright, Josh Osborne and Jay Connor. Osborne does clear the 12, goes down to the inside, and it's back now to Scattered, Offset 2x2. He's now looking 3 wide. Sean Leisure I thought might have got tagged there, but they've managed to to save it, and we're still clean, still green as we approach the halfway point in this race.
I was watching that gaggle of cars, and I thought for a second that we were about to see 4 wide through the corner. It's a wide track, but I never think 4 wide is a good choice. So I'm glad that didn't quite happen. I think Dom Wright did just back out a bit to kind of let things settle down, which is probably a wise choice. But starting to move forward here, making a pass on the 72 of Darby Marriott. Yeah, pretty much double file or single file through the field at this point. It looks, well, was 3 wide up ahead with Josh Clark and Frank Foti, but they're, as I say that, almost about to go 3 wide again. But yeah, it's, I kind of feel something is going to happen here. I don't think a green run is coming, but now that I've said that, hopefully I've just jinxed it and we stay green for a long time.
I think the issue that this car bumps up against more than anything else, and that these drivers will bear the consequences of it in fairness. We saw the same thing at Chicagoland. You don't, in the other 3 NASCAR cars, the next gen Xfinity car and the trucks, a green run, if you give it half a dozen laps, will more than likely result in a long, good green run. But because these cars are so packed up, so aerodynamic, and it forces these gaggles of constant 2, 3, sometimes 4. We saw Chicagoland 5 wide going into turn 1 at points. It's, you know, we've ticked off a good half a dozen laps here, but we're knocking on the door of 10 laps in this green run. But we're still super packed up, still looking 3 wide here between Jessica Trell and Justin Vandermeer here, for example. Gavin Higgins as well joining the fray here. So it just means that just for how many laps keep going on, you're going to keep staying near each other, and it's just going to, the likelihood of an accident will continue to stay at quite a high level, whereas with other cars it will steadily go down the longer a green run goes on. So I think cautions breed cautions, that's definitely true, but I don't think we're ever truly safe from the yellows with the way this car races in its current package.
Yeah, we've got the top 5 cars here that have kind of broken away a bit over a second gap, and the part of me that wants to see this be action-filled, wants to see this second half of the pack kind of catch back up, close up that gap, but the part of me that wants to see a long run, I kind of hope that they're able to maintain that gap and just kind of run away for a little bit and have a tighter fight between those 5 later on. But I don't think they're going to cooperate with each other that well. Those guys are going to be wanting to go for position on each other, and that's going to let this pack catch up again, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing on the ticker, Gavin Hibbs and Daniel Martinez are particularly close to each other, less than half a tenth separating those two, as they are side by side. Dan Martinez to the inside of the 96, so not much cooperation between these 5 drivers up at the front, led by the 48 of Adams here. But one thing that I'm sort of intrigued by is that this almost strikes me as a bit like plate racing, in the sense that a pack that cooperates well, that's in single file now, will break away, and it seems like they were quite packed up, the entire field, for a little while, but it seems like as soon as they broke this sort of bubble of a few tenths of a second, and then they just took off. And now they're over a second ahead of now Dylan Nevere in the 57, and they don't seem to be looking back much. And I think if they continue to not race each other, I think that's sort of when we start to see this pack begin to pull away, similarly to what you see at Super Speedway, just because of the way this aero package seems to be working with the launch of the ARCA car. But still, as you mentioned, Alayton, I don't think these guys will begin to cooperate much. We saw Gavin Hibbs and Daniel Martinez going for it a bit, and I'm sure we'll see more of that, which could let this pack of 6 on back that we see from Dan's bumper here catch back up. But for now, it looks plain sailing for this front 3 here, or front 5 I should say.
Yeah, we had a very close call there. Very easily could have been a yellow down the front straight with Jesse Cottrell and Caleb Pucumer, but they keep it straight. Almost 4 wide leading into it, so there's still plenty of racing going on further back. Oh, we got one car going around the 56 of Joe Francis. Doesn't get in anything, but down the grass on the front straight. Looked like he got turned by, I didn't catch which car it was. Oh no, it's the 49 again.
Oh no. Ooh.
Just into the left rear off the corner.
I think Sean might be taking a leisurely drive to pit lane with his second tally. I don't know. We'll see what the call is there from race control, but not very good at that point there, boys.
One upside for Joe there is because he didn't actually stop and was just rolling the whole time, he got back a lot of the spots that he
he actually didn't lose a ton.
had given up with that spin.
But one thing to note here, the pit lane is open, and two cars staying out here, both belonging to KOR Motorsports in Jay Connor and Jaden Racimas. Looks like Rob Mooney and Josh Osborne also going to remain out on the racetrack. So your top four are going to be on old tires when we come back here for the middle portions of today's Bluegrass State 187 on the Elite Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Since 2010, race fans have had one burning question. When will the Xfinity Series return to Worldwide Technology Raceway? You asked, NASCAR delivered. On Saturday, September 6, 2025, the magic is back. The track that launched the legendary careers of Harvick, Busch, Keselowski, Edwards, and Earnhardt Jr. is now ready to write that next chapter. We're going to introduce you to a new crop of future champions and Hall of Famers. And in the process, we'll create more of the greatest moments in racing history. NASCAR Weekend 2025, the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Playoffs, the Confluence Music Festival, and now 250 miles of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. 2 incredible races, 1 challenging track, a 3-day party of epic proportions. Go to WWTRaceway.com and lock in your weekend racing and camping packages for as little as $20 down.
All right, we are back 1 to green, and Will, what is your call on that last instant?
Yeah, for caution number 6, just quickly before we come back to the green flag, as you see on your screen there, second tally, unfortunately, for the number 49, Sean Leisure. That results in him being parked for the remainder of the event, and unfortunately, that means Sean's night is done.
That's never the way that you want your night to go, but mistakes happen, I guess. As Robert mentioned, we got 4 cars that stayed out on old tires at the front of the field. First car on fresh tires is Tom Bourne in 5th place. So taking the start here with Jay Connor on the outside, getting a very strong jump over Jaden Racimas. Those front 2 single file out, but Rob Mooney and Josh Osborne are side by side through 1 and 2. That's going to force them to go 3 wide to get by them if they want to do it quickly, but hopefully we see a bit of patience here. Presley Sora diving down the bottom 3 wide, backs out a little bit. It's side by side with Jacob Adams and Josh Osborne. Josh Osborne holds on to it through 4, so going to be 2 wide back into turn 1 again. We got cars spinning back there. Rob Mooney Tom Bourne in that, Gavin Higgins, Dylan Javier, Frank Fodes.
Caleb Pacumer's
okay.
in there.
Kumer's facing backwards.
Oh, that's a big one. Justin Vandermarl, I believe, got a piece of that one too. Let's take a look and see what happened here late, and as Will's going to try to break it down over on the race control side of things. That was definitely a big one here.
I am expecting old tires to play. Oh, Rob Mooney goes around off the nose of Dan Osborne, back up a little bit further.
Dan Osborne?
Or Dan Martinez, I'm sorry.
Or why, yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of guys get involved in that. Oh my god, big hit there. Oh my gosh. The 72 machine of Darby Marius. Let's go on board with him. That's not Darby Marius. There it is.
Oh.
They had no idea that Vandermarl was coming down the racetrack right there.
Yeah, he's got clear track-ish in front of him, and then he's got a wall in front of him.
Dominic Wright got involved. There's his nose. Jeez. That's a big one right there. A lot of cars just got involved in that. Gavin Hibbs on pit lane. Rob Mooney, of course, coming down. He's got front, rear, left, right damage. Mitch Havier down there. Frank Fode. Quite a few cars with pretty hefty damage.
Yeah, that was enough damage on the Dominic Wright machine that he is done for the night. They cannot repair that thing.
I'm going to say the 80's probably just about done for the night as well. That thing's pretty heavily damaged. Rob Mooney, I'd say he's got some suspension damage. The 72, I can almost guarantee you is done for the night because that was a huge hit. Suspension's definitely jacked on that car. The 20, he sent pieces of his car all the way over to neighbor Pete with how hard he hit. So it'll be interesting to see how many of these guys actually rejoin the field here, Alayton.
Yeah, you want to think that some of these hits are just bodywork falling off and they could just throw it back on and it'd be fine, but it's not quite how the damage model works with these cars. But yeah, there's been a lot of big hits here tonight and a lot of damaged cars. 17. Colbert in 15th is currently the tail end of the pack pacing.
Yeah,
and everyone behind that is on pit road or coming off of pit road right now.
Yeah, that's not good. And no offense to Cole, because it's certainly not to downplay him or anything like that, but the fact that we only have 15 cars in this lead pack right now, that's pretty darn bad. There's a lot of cars with some pretty hefty damage, and just going to be an interesting restart here. Jay Connor, Jaden Racimus, row 1. Josh Osborne, Jake Adams, row 2. Dan Martinez, Presley Soar, row 3. Dusty Doer, Josh Clark, row 4. Michael Hosick, Austin, and Nabnett, your top 10. Then it's Drew King and Joe Francis in row 6. Row 7 is Connor Thompson and Cale Pocock. Colbert and Carlos Acosta, Mitch Avira, Andrew Hardcastle, Chris Albrecht, and Gavin Hibbs, the top 20. Then Justin Vandermarl in 21st and Shea Mitchell 22nd, but Shea, the first car, 1 lap down. Miguel Carrera back out there, Kirk Gibson, and Jesse Cottrell as well. Everyone else either on pit road or on their couch.
Yeah, you could see the Kirk Gibson car on the apron there on the backstretch, just kind of crabbing down the straight. That's not a drivable car yet. He's got probably multiple laps of repairs before he can take that out with any kind of competitive speed. But we are 1 to green. He doesn't have any more yellow laps to do those repairs. And coming back into the restart zone, Will is not back quite yet, but we'll get a report from him momentarily. Jay gets another good jump. Front 3 are going to single file out. Dan Martinez gets around.
Sleeping on that restart. He absolutely did not get going whatsoever. That really stacked up the guys behind him. Dusty Door, Josh Osborne, going to be oh, bit of netcode coming into play, but also a bit of craziness as well, as these guys absolutely beating and banging each other out here on the racetrack. Michael Hossack, he's just going to force his way through Josh Osborne there, gets his way up into the 7th spot. Man, these guys don't care about each other whatsoever. Christmas card list, those are out the window. We don't care. We're just here to beat each other off and get positions.
I think this is supposed to be a family broadcast, Robert.
What's wrong with positions, bud?
You know what you did. Presley Sora sticking on the bottom, 3 wide for a moment, but sorts itself out to be 2 wide. We'll see if that holds up. 3 wide again right behind it. These guys are not showing a lot of patience right now with doing some math. 60 laps to go. And don't run each other off the corner. Keep it straight.
There's a swing and a half there from Dustin Do, as you did mention, Alayton just halfway through the race now. Still time for positions to be made. As they're 4 wide. Oh, that's going to go badly. Oh, there they go. Bye.
And they're right in front of it.
And Josh Clark has just died.
Oh, did they?
Did
The
they
3
wreck?
wide in front of the 4 wide wrecked another half a straight later.
Oh my
goodness
gosh.
me.
Well, let's back this up
See you
manually
in
then.
15 minutes.
Josh Clark goes first spin. He gets hooked here. 4 wide. Josh Osborne comes up into the left rear of Josh Clark, sends him around. And then you mentioned that they wreck right there. Oh yeah, you could see it triggering around Hossack.
Hossack and Dan Martinez in some way.
Let's go back and see that. That one's not as bad, I don't think.
With Dusty Doer.
Yeah, Dusty Door gets collected as well. And
It's
around
like Hossack
goes
just forces him down
Martinez.
across Dusty's nose.
Well, we're going to do something here while we have a couple guys. Is he still here? No, he's not. I was going to say we would try to talk with Dave Huckleberry, but he has exited the building. Let's see who we can. Let's have a word with Cale Pocock, currently sitting in position number 9. Hey, Cale, is Robert and Alayton up in the booth? You get a copy?
Yep. How's it going?
It's going for us. How's it going for you? You've been involved in a couple things out there tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some long runs in, but everybody seems to want to drive like it's the last lap every lap, so I'm just trying to avoid the carnage best I can.
What are your thoughts on the track here so far, and what do you think's been the biggest challenge for these guys trying to keep it straight?
Same thing as any multi-groove track like this, where you fan out in the corners and then the exit, everybody kind of goes down to one groove, just people not really paying attention to how their car is sliding or if there's a car next to them. Like when you see people 4 wide in the corner and then the exits are like a lane and a half wide, the ideal line. So just kind of the funnel effect, typical with these tracks.
No, Alayton, any questions here for Cale Pocock?
Your car looks pretty good. Are you fully repaired at this point, or do you have any damage still?
Somehow when I got a piece of that earlier, I didn't get any damage. So I don't know how that happened, but yeah, I'm clean. And if we can get some long runs, I got really good long run pace, but it doesn't look like we're going to get any real long runs. So we'll see. It seems like if we get a good, like that last 10 to 15 lap run, once we got about 10 laps in, I really started making pace, but just trying not to bleed positions in the meantime.
Well, Cale, before we let you go, any sponsors or shout-outs?
Just shout out to everybody at Abbott. I love this team. Everybody's great. So hopefully I can bring home a win for them.
Best of luck out there, bud.
Thank you.
That was Cale Pocock. We finally got Will back. Will, what's the ruling on the last 2 cautions that we've had?
So the caution number 7, that was the crash between Dan and Rob, wasn't it? That was a no call. A bit of a weird convergence. Dan kind of went for a gap that was kind of going to close. Rob kind of cleared himself. So I think both of them could have done things differently. So I can't really fault. If I fault both of them, I can't really give one of them a tally, so that's just a no call. Caution number 8 was one tally was issued to the number 07 of Josh Osborne for the incident further back. The incident further up front was a racing deal. Dan kind of gets put in a bad spot as he looks under Harsack at the same time as Harsack jigs down a bit. Dusty's there, bit of net code between him and Dusty. Whole lot of things going on, a bit of a messy one, so that was a racing deal. And that was a lot to unpack very, very quickly, but thankfully we are now coming back to the green, and Jay Connor has taken off like a scolded cat there with a very good restart.
And we do have a pretty wide range of tire strategies again. We've got some cars on 20 lap old tires, some on 13, and some that just pit and took tires on this last stop, or this last yellow. So kind of see how that plays out. I think the cars in the middle are going to be in the best position here. They've got a lot of yellow laps as part of those 13, so they're not going to have worn them much at all. But even with all the yellows, those cars on 30 lap tires, it's Jake Connor and Josh Osborne in the top 10. They're going to come out the worst of this, I think. Unless there's another yellow and they can take tires, which is not unlikely. There are 19 cars on the lead lap, so even if you pit from the lead, there's only so far you can fall back from it. We've had a lot of attrition here.
Yeah, it was that incident was in 84 and 83 that sparked an absolutely huge crash behind them. That was a big catalyst for most of that attrition that you mentioned, Alayton. It's taken out a lot of good cars, and as you say, we're down to less than 20 cars on the lead lap here. And most of them will be in this pack that's less, or just over a second apart, I should say. That's back to P12 and Carlos Acosta. But the field, apart from this sort of front gaggle here, is starting to disperse a bit from 13th on back. We do have this race between Kale Pocock and Austin and Abnett actually fighting for P9 there. Still those two racing after it, Josh Osborne and Jay Connor trying to hang on with their older tyres, which seems to be working for the first sort of 10 laps or so. But I think, as you mentioned, if get a longer green run, this could really begin to bite them in the backside, really, and they will begin to tumble, I think. But they've been shown the mercy of a lot of yellow so far, and they've capitalised well. So we will see how that plays out for them. These are two cars that are one lap down here, Alayton. It's Colbert, Gavin Hibbs, and Mitch Avere. Are they on the lead lap? Oh, they are on the lead lap, aren't they?
Almost back with
my word.
They say that mid-corner. I'm amazed that was not a spin and a yellow.
Well, definitely not pulling any punches. These drivers here going hard here. We'll see exactly what happened. There's a 3-wide deal here. Josh Clark really has been a bit of a victim this race. He's been bit beaten and bullied, but they've all saved it mid-corner, as you mentioned, Alayton, and that fight still raging on between the 34 and the 36.
Yeah, we've got few enough cars that are competitive now that hopefully we can keep things kind of single file for a little while. Last time I was about to say that, while you were speaking, they immediately started forming up to go 3 wide, and you saw the result with that little replay. But yeah, Josh Osborne still running 5th on those older tires. He's having a very strong run right now, but if we get a long green, I think he's really going to start suffering with those. Same with Jay Connor, but you kind of expect Jay to kind of stick around at the front a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, definitely. Jay Connor doing a good job holding his own. He obviously was part of the championship for last season in the RevLimit Workshop Development Series there. Ended up P4, I believe, in the standings, as unfortunately that particular championship night at Homestead started quite badly for car number 9, but absolutely Josh Osborne, as you mentioned, like, having a brilliant run here, still occupying P7. I think those older tyres are beginning to start to fall off. He's still in 6th, still holding back the likes of Carlos Costa and Jaden Racimus. Obviously, we know that Jay has run up front a lot in the series, and of course, Josh Osborne, no disrespect to him, of course, he's one of the emerging drivers. He fights for the emerging driver points. We seldom see him inside the top 10, but he's absolutely doing brilliantly here up in P6 and has kept his nose clean fairly well. Apart from that one particular tally, he had his incident with Joshua Clark early doors here, not too long ago, but still running very clean, consistent lap times, isn't falling off, not dropping like a rock, still holding that P6 position very, very nicely, but we'll see if those tires can hang on.
Yeah, we've got Cale Pocock running in 10th right now, and then there's a pretty big gap from him to 11th with Harrison Talon. Harrison doesn't look to have any significant damage, so I'm wondering if he just kind of got hung up behind some other cars that did have some, and that created the gap, or I don't know what happened there, but yeah, Cale is actually far enough back from 9th that he's not benefiting as much from the draft as he kind of needs to be.
Definitely not, as we're working just towards the 2/3 mark here, ending lap 79, coming to lap 80 here. Presley Sora has just taken the lead from Jake Adams up at the front, as you might see on the screen there. I mean, I mentioned early doors regarding Josh Osborne's incident with Joshua Clark. I don't know. This must be some film that our producer Robert Hill Jr. Is aware of. Obviously, quite an old man. Robert is. It might be an older film that he used to watch when he was little. But alas, we are still running here. I think it's Miguel Carrera there in stationary in pit lane. But Presley has taken the lead. We know he has the pace Alayton, but of course, this aero package as such is definitely keeping the trailing pack very much in this race, as we've got the top 8 less than a second apart.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to be able to just run away with this package. I had 3 wide for a moment with Jaden Racines, Josh Osborne, and Connor Thompson, but there's a very tight 3 wide too, so it was a little scary, but worked out fine. Josh is starting to fall back a bit.
Yeah, Josh Osborne there down to P8, just bit of door-to-door action there between Jake Adams and Presley Sora coming off of turn 4. Naturally, obviously, these cars do pull tight there, especially turn 4, a bit of a tricky one to try and gauge the exit. Kentucky, by no means asymmetrical oval. Turns 1 and 2 being vastly different to turns 3 and 4, and that is part and parcel of the challenge of this track. But Michael Harsack as well, and Connor Thompson Gardner as well, beginning to creep up on this fight between Adams and Sora. Harsack now taking P2 quite cleanly away from Jake Adams. Gets a brilliant run off the corner here as they now will come up on the lap car BOR's Shea Mitchell there. And Adams now back to the right row of Harsack. We'll see if he can make that move stick. They're just about side by side, and Adams just about gets there. But that has broken up this front pack somewhat. Now only the top 6 a second apart here is Presley Sora now 3/10 in front. Could that potentially give Presley the impetus to potentially start to break away here? But just as we say that, just look at the ticker coming down and down and down. The slipstream so strong on these cars. That gap has been nearly halved already, coming down just the front straight, and Presley Sora has been immediately reeled back in.
Yeah, if these guys play this smart, there's no way that someone can run away. But when it's fighting for position, that doesn't always line up with these guys, with their train of thought. But we've seen these sparks off the walls quite a few times in the past few laps, and I've commented on it before, but I just want to point out one more time that netcode bug that we were having last week at Chicagoland has been fixed. And as many cautions as we've had, I think 8 or 9, it would be so much worse if that bug was still with us here this week. So thanks to iRacing for getting that taken care of.
Yeah, definitely took care of that in a timely manner. Of course, we're only a couple weeks into 2025 season 2 build, and took them a couple of weeks to address that issue. It was quite a big issue, so no easy fix, I would imagine, for the tech boffins over in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, where iRacing are based. But yeah, no, definitely good fix to have, because as you say, Alayton having a lot more yellow laps, I'm sure. Those sparks coming off the wall. Anytime someone tags the wall, as we saw last week at Chicagoland, they'd be sending the inside car to the nether realm, as it were. But thankfully, no such issues prevailing tonight. Less than 40 to go now, and the fight for the lead still remains between Presley Sora and Jacob Adams here, with both of these guys showing particularly good paces. Everyone third on back against the top positions. Jaden Racimus actually has done very well to claw back some positions in these last few laps, and he is now up all the way to third place. That's his highest running position all night long.
Yeah, and these lead pack cars have anywhere from 30 to almost 50 laps on since their last pit stop. So with a fuel tank worth about 50 to 55 laps of green flag running, I think someone like Jay has maybe another 20 laps before he has to make a stop. I would expect that everyone has to stop one more time before the end. So if things, I mean, this field is pretty spaced out right now. And as long as these smaller packs can kind of keep things under control, we get some green flag laps here, we might actually see green flag pit stops. Fingers crossed.
Be nice to see some green flag pit stops. We didn't get any at Chicagoland for round number 1, but we'll see if we can get some this time around, as Jaden Racimus was up to P2 as well. The brilliant movement, Jake Adams. Adams now coming back. Some net code there results in a bit of a squiggly number 19 there, as Racimus obviously trying to pinch Jacob Adams, trying to get him a bit uncomfy there down on the low side, but Adams does complete the move back into second place for the number 48, and that gives Predator about half a second left of breathing room. But I'll tell you what, watch him down the back straight here. You saw a couple hundreds immediately get clawed back. Racimus back to the inside of Jacob Adams, but he will not make that move stick. Let's make a note of the gap. It's coming flying down as they go 3 wide behind him. Kel Pocock, Jay Connor, and Connor Thompson Garner, Austin and Abnett, and now Carlos Acosta as well entering the fray here. So still just over a second between the top 9 here, Alayton. This really is a bit like a plate track. No one is able to run away with it here.
Yeah, Kale was talking about how he had good long run pace and he hadn't been able to get one. He was in 10th, almost in danger of losing this lead pack, and now he's up into 4th and looking to take 3rd from Jaden Racimus. So he is definitely kind of proving his words from our interview with him.
Definitely is flying up the field here now, only 6/10 behind race leader Presley Sora, who has been immediately reeled back in by Jake Adams, who goes for a big bonsai move here into turn 3, late on the anchors for car number 48, as he tries to get past car number 95, and by doing he's being called upon as race control, so I'll hand over back to you later.
Josh Osborne has called out that he's going to be pitting in the next few laps, so he's on the same strategy as Jake Connor right now. So
3 wide battle for the lead here.
This stops me coming soon.
3 wide, Jacob Adams on the bottom, Cale Pocock middle, Presley Sora gonna lose that top spot. He gets pushed back to 3rd as Pocock gonna poke his nose in and moves that 95 back just a position there, as now Sora looks to the high side of Jake Adams once again. 3 wide into turn number 1. These guys absolutely racing their hearts out as they come to 31 laps to go this time. Not a lot of room for error here, Alayton, as these guys are door to door to door. Pocock gonna lose out now. Jaden Racimus goes to the top. He's trying to get up there into this fight for first.
Yeah, I'm seeing these guys make some pretty big dives to the bottom in turn 3 especially, and you saw it from Jacob there on that last corner. He almost tried to pull a slide job but couldn't clear Presley Sora, so he had to kind of back out of it, and that held up Kale behind him. So I don't think that's the way you want to make a pass here if you can avoid it. We've got enough race here that's left that you don't need to make that kind of move. Jaden gets in the wall, almost comes down to Kale, but keeps some space open there, and we stay green. I really want to see a green flag stop here. Come on, guys. Jay's pitting this time by.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah, Jay's pitting this time by. I think we're not jinxing it, but Jay Connor and Josh Osborne, those two stayed out a bit So a bit less flexibility with their strategy, but they will get a big undercut from this, I will say. They're coming down pit road this time. As is Carlos Acosta, we see they're behind him in the ERN 02. I think the chain reaction will now start. Even though Osborne and Connor were a bit off cycle compared to everyone else, they will get such a big undercut here with just over 25 laps to go. I think everyone that's in this lead pack here, from Sora down to Michael Hossack, needs to react.
Yeah, there's a 16-lap delta in pit stops between the cars that we just saw pit and the ones that are still on track. So we're getting low enough on laps, almost going to go to the 25 to go mark, that if you wait the full fuel tank, all 16 of those laps, it's not going to be quite 16 because of yellows, but if you wait that whole time, you are going to be in grave danger of not having enough time to actually use the new tires to make up the ground that you lost to the undercut from those other cars.
Yeah,
which is the point that Will was trying to make there.
Yeah, that's the thing. You will be flying. If you wait the full tank, you'll be flying relative to the 07 and the 9, but you won't have the time to use it. But Cale Pocock there made a big move on Jake Adams to go back up to second, but Adams immediately responding with a big move around the outside of turns 1 and 2. He will take position number 2 straight back from Cale Pocock, who's now down to P3, fighting Jaden Racimus, I should say, sorry. For position number 3 there, Racimus now to the outside. But Presley Sora, in all this hullabaloo of swapping positions every 2 seconds that this lead pack has gone, Presley Sora, and to an extent Jake Adams as well, but Presley Sora really has been the only constant in this, and I definitely think there is a certain advantage to being the leader in these big packs, but I think it definitely speaks to the strength and the skill of Presley Sora in this car, and generally on the oval side of things, that he has done brilliantly to keep the entire trailing pack behind, despite, we've mentioned a million times the aero package and the slipstream that drivers get. You'll see it again here down the back straight. The gap will just tumble down between himself and Jake Allen. So Presley Sora has done a really admirable job here at keeping a very hungry pack of cars behind him at bay here, with now just 25 laps to go.
Yeah, you talk about the aero. As the trailing cars get that draft, they also get the dirty air in the corners. And that's going to increase their tire wear, making their car work competitively with the leader. I think, and then on top of that, of course, the lead car, you don't have to worry about someone wrecking in front of you. Usually. Lap cars have a pretty big gap in front, so that's definitely the safest place to be. It's the easiest place to be driving-wise with clean air. But with the sends that we've seen into 3 especially, it has its own risks. If someone sends a little bit too hard and comes up under your door, there's not a lot you can do without essentially conceding the position. They're side by side for that lead spot through 1 and 2 here. I don't think Jacob will be able to make the pass stick. We might see another send in 3. I don't think he has the run to actually do that here, though. I think if you're going to see a pass, it's going to have to be on the outside, and I'm not sure how you're going to manage to get to the outside of Presley Sora at this point. So I think if we go green to the end, the car that times the undercut right is going to be the one that wins.
I definitely agree. I think if I'm Jacob Adams and I'm trying to make this move on Presley Sora, I'm observing the fact that first I've got 4 tenths back to Jaden Racimus at the minute. That might ebb and flow. It probably will ebb and flow with the air package and whatnot. But I think if I'm Jacob Adams, I'm firstly trying to make sure that I have the tyre to continue still make that move as, a quarter of a second gap. I think Adams might present the trailer for a little bit. Presley Sora, of course, will be getting better tyres as clean air all the time and what have you. But if I'm trying to make a pass, I'm thinking get a run off of potentially turn 4 and then look for a slider potentially into turn 1, or vice versa. Go outside in 3 and 4 and look, or outside in 1 and 2 and look for a big send into turn 3. Turn 3 being the tighter out of turns 1 and turns 3, so more hospitable for those big dives that we have seen going into turn 3. so far this race, but it's going to be whatever method Jacob tries to use it will be supremely difficult for him to get past Presley, simply because the aero doesn't really allow for it. But we have heard a call from Connor Thompson in the 30, pitting this time with 20 to go. This could set off a big chain reaction for everyone in this lead pack, as Connor Thompson will have a big undercut on everyone around him. Sora and Adams immediately to pit road in reaction to that call, and you'd have to imagine the four up front will come in immediately thereafter.
Yeah, Sora not going all that fast down pit road. Jacob Adams was able to get side by side with him, fully alongside down pit road. At this point, if you haven't pit, I almost think the call is to stay out and hope for a yellow. As Kale's coming down pit road, someone else in front of him, Kale Pecumer, he's laps down at this point. But yeah, if you're still out on track, I think you're gambling for a yellow now, because that's going to be your only shot, unless you are substantially faster, and Presley Sora is still not on track, and he's been dominating this race. Yeah, Racimus is 41 laps in with a. It's going to be tight for him. I haven't seen any people go past 52 laps on a stint. 53 now with Colbert. And Inamnit is also on 53. Jaden might be saving with how easily Austin just went by him. And if that's his plan, that could work. That could work out very well for him.
I mean, what was it say on the stint length there? So far, 43 laps. If he saves 59 laps. If he's been saving the entire lap, see, the benefit that, if it's all about fuel economy that he's had on this longer run, is that the slipstream does help you save fuel. It's not as exacerbated of an effect as it would be on something like a super speedway, where you can save laps and laps and laps of fuel in the draft just by using less throttle. But I think if he's been saving this entire time and can now really begin to hard save with Austin and Abnett running away into the distance now, second and a half, 59 laps in a run is doable. I don't hate the idea. And of course, the likes of Presley Sora, they're an entire lap behind Jaden Racimus. As you see, that's Presley Sora just coming up on Jaden now, so he has got to make up about 31 seconds in what will be about 14 laps. As there you go, Presley Sora does unlap himself from Jaden. Still a couple seconds up the road for Austin and Abnett. So I definitely think this could work if he commits to it. But the worst thing that can happen when you're trying to fuel save is when you realize you can't make it and you're pitting with like 3 to go, and it's just, you get a sinking feeling realizing it's not going to work. But I really hope it does work for Jaden, because if so, that will be a brilliant way to take your first career victory.
The one thing I don't like about what Jaden is doing right now is that he is running high the entire way around the track, and that is the longest way to go around the track. So that's just burning fuel that he may not have to burn. So I kind of question if he's going full fuel save or if he's just kind of trying to stretch it in hopes for a yellow before he runs out.
Hey guys, just chiming in for a second here. Gavin Hibbs just pit, by the way. Just want to give a shout out to neighbor Pete. Apparently he had surgery today and is a little bit banged up at home tonight. So shout out to neighbor Pete. Hope you're doing well, our good friend, and wishing you a speedy recovery. But back to this action, and Abnett still leads. He's due down pit road any minute. And I think Jaden's doing a great job saving this, guys. We'll see if he's able to make it. Josh Clark as well.
Yeah, and Abnett is on lap 58 of his stint. That is 11 more than Jaden is on right now. And there's 11 to go. So it seems to me like Jaden can make it to the end. That's my guess.
Well, then we need to watch this here, because this is your battle for the eventual lead. the 19 of Jaden Racimus, the 36 of Josh Clark. These guys are side by side. They're both on the same pit strategy.
Josh Clark is definitely going a lot harder than Jaden Racimus is. So is he more confident on fuel, or is he just kind of YOLOing it at this point?
The other thing that concerns me with regards to Jaden's pit strat here is that he is going obviously very, very, very slowly, trying to maintain fuel econ. Less than 30 seconds between Presley Sora and the leader, so that's what, 22 seconds between Jaden Racimus. Presley Sora has not long just unlapped himself. A lap here is 31 seconds as Austin and Abbott does come down pit road from the race lead here, which will give the lead to Joshua Clark. So what does concern me about that is that even if Jaden Racimus does save all that fuel, Presley Sora might end up catching him anyway if he continues to go that slowly. I think he's starting to pick up the pace a bit, but I definitely think Jaden does run the risk of, if he keeps going this slowly to try and save fuel, that Presley might just catch him anyway. So we'll have to wait and see in that, of course. But 9 to go, still 20 odd seconds between Presley and Jaden. That means Presley has to gain about 2 seconds a lap. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I would say definitely run the high side. I don't like that because that's slower lap times and more distance.
And I mean, Josh Clark is still
yeah.
out here, and he's still got a good shot at this. So
Yeah.
I think we got to focus on this 36, and he's definitely put a decent gap between himself and Presley Sora, as Jaden is slowing a ton. He's lost almost half a second this lap.
We're hearing from Gavin Higgins in the YouTube chat that Jaden is saving fuel, and he is 1 lap short right now.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't think he makes that up without crawling around the track, which means he'll just lose the lead anyway.
He's at 7
or lose
to
his
go,
position
though.
to Presley.
I don't know.
7 to go.
I think he's okay. Mitch Avere coming down pit road, by the way.
I think 15
Presley
seconds
is
though. He is catching him very quickly.
13 seconds back.
Yeah. I think Presley will catch him, to be honest. Yeah, that's exactly what Presley needs to be doing in terms of 3.2 seconds last lap. That's a yikes, in my humble opinion. It's 13 seconds now. I think Jaden is a lap short, probably a bit less than a lap short now. I think he's going to need to crawl around the track to make it on fuel, by which point Presley, I think, would have caught him. So I don't hate the idea, but I don't think it's going to get him a race win. But we could be eating our words in 6 laps, so we don't know.
I think, if anything, if Jaden has done anything wrong here, it's running the top to stay out of people's way while he's saving.
Yeah.
When he should be running the bottom and making them go around him.
With how slow Jaden is going to try and save fuel, he is losing so much more time on the high side. He is bleeding, I would say, at least half a second every lap just by running high. He needs to get down low ASAP. 10 seconds between Racimus and Sora, with 5 to go, coming to 4 to go this time. It's going to be very close. I think the timings do work slightly in the favor of Jaden. We're looking at it now, but I think he needs to stop bleeding that time, get running that low line again. If Josh Clark can make it, he will win by an absolute mile here. But Jaden looks to be the better fuel economist, as it were, so we'll see if he can make it. But yeah, definitely a lot of conflict of strategy here, so I'll have to wait and see.
At the pace that Josh Clark is running at right now, I wonder if he was saving more aggressively under yellow than Jaden was, or if he is just...
Oh, Jaden's pit. No. I think he's
entirely down to Josh Clark now. Can he make it? Did he save more fuel earlier in the run? He's going very slow now. He's slowed down a lot.
But I'm looking at
he can give up
the
5
timings.
seconds a lap here over the last 2 and still be there.
I think he's okay. He just needs to make sure he makes it.
I think he would have
he's going to crawl. He's going to crawl around the track these last 2 laps to make sure he makes it, because he's got all the time in the world now to give up. Less than 9 seconds. You see it, the gap tumbling and tumbling and tumbling.
Guys,
but I
as soon
don't
as he
think
went into
Presley will
turn
get
number
that.
1, he shut that car off. Let's go on board here.
Wow,
with
that's
Josh
aggressive.
Clark.
Yeah.
He's
That's
just
aggro
hoping for the
saving, but
best. As the white flag's coming out, 1 to go for Josh Clark. 6.5 seconds
He's
is the
committed
gap.
to it.
Man, he's turning it off at the start-finish line. Oh my gosh, Josh. He can do this, though. He's got enough space to be able to do this. He's just got to make sure he makes it home. Is he out?
Oh, that gap is tumbling. What's the red counter?
man,
See if it starts to stutter.
I think he can make
No,
it
he's
from here.
okay. He's got it. As he comes through 3 and 4 for the final time, coming off of turn number 4.
I was afraid he was going to
slow as
turn.
hell, but checkered flag. Josh Clark on fuel, boys. What a great strategy for Clark. Sora second, Adams third, Connor fourth, Connor Thompson fifth, Pocock sixth, Hossack seventh, and Abnett eighth, Acosta ninth, and Joe Francis comes home in 10th, but it's Josh Clark picking up the dub, and he's out.
He's completely out.
He's out of gas. He ain't burning
Wow.
nothing down.
Clap that up. That's sick. Love
Wow. Yeah, he's out. Let's step away when we come back. Oh, he just got absolutely smashed right there by Cale Pocock. But we'll step away when we come back. We'll talk with Josh Clark, Presley Sora, and Jacob Adams. Your top 3 is the Bluegrass State 187 on ERN. Don't go anywhere.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
3 years of sellout crowds, 3 years of edge-of-your-seat action, 3 years of jaw-dropping finishes. Worldwide Technology Raceway has rocked the world of NASCAR, and now NASCAR is giving us another reason to celebrate. The 2025 NASCAR Cup Series Championship playoffs are coming Sunday, September 7th, 2025. Just when you thought the racing couldn't get any more intense, now every single lap matters. One wrong move could be the difference between elimination and being crowned the king. The Enjoy Illinois 300, the Confluence Music Festival, the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs, and for the first time in 15 years, the NASCAR Xfinity Series on Saturday, September 6th. Don't be on the outside looking in. See history being made in your own backyard. Go to www.raceway.com for the hottest ticket of the year.
All right, I am here with Jacob Adams, our third place finisher tonight. You got a copy, Jacob?
Yeah, I gotcha.
You were up front fighting with Presley most of this race. You want to walk us through it?
Customary for me, poor qualifying, started outside the top 20 and had to make up a lot of ground as chaos back there in that group. But finally got up there, and I got up there racing with Presley, led some laps. I was running behind him. I thought I was a little bit better than he was in some spots, and and thought I could get by him if we didn't have to have that after the pit stop, and then I never would have guessed that 2 tires would have worked, and he beat me there, and then Josh stayed on the fuel. So, happy with the 3rd place, although.
Yeah, we saw you making some pretty big dives into turn 3 on occasion. Was that did you think that was your best chance at passing Presley, or were you looking for basically any opening you could find?
Yeah, I was basically just trying to get around him any way possible. I knew the bottom probably wasn't going to work. He was good enough coming down and running my door with the side draft and slowing me down and pulling me up, and that was probably never going to work, but I had to try something to be able to clear him to learn for the end of the race. So I was trying to get it done early there. I had a few ideas, and just wasn't able to race him after that pit stop.
Well, you still got a 3rd place. That's a good 2nd race of the season. Off to a good start for the points. Before I let you go, any shout-outs you want to give, sponsors you want to thank?
Yep, just my company, Marion's, that I have on the car. I've got all my employees under me. Some of them might be watching, so if anybody is, shout out to them. I was running in the chat with Josh and Chris again tonight. They were kind of spotting, talking me through the race a little bit. So thanks to those guys, and that's pretty much it. You guys for the broadcast. Go back and watch them every week. You guys do a good job. William for race control, and Chad for putting it on.
All right. Congrats on the 3rd place, and we'll see you here next week.
Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah.
William, you want to do our interview with Presley here?
All right, Presley Sora, P2 on the night from pole. Got a copy, my friend?
Yeah, I've got you.
So, a tale of ups and downs, definitely. Tonight, obviously coming away with the P2, losing it really only on fuel strategy to Joshua Clark. But definitely looked like very entertaining racing down there for the most part when you're in that big lead pack. But one thing we observed early doors here, and when you're on that long green run, was just how well you're able to keep the trailing pack behind you at bay as they were all swapping positions left, right, and center. You were the one constant kind of staying up in the lead. But how were you able to kind of essentially keep them all at bay as they all seemed very hungry for that race lead?
Yeah, really, once I got back up to the front, I knew I just needed to defend, and the draft is so strong on these ARCA cars that they pulled me in down the straightaway. So we get down the corner, and I'd kind of put it on their door and not really side draft them, but once you get on the right side of the ARCA car, it gets really tough to turn. So I'd put it on the right side door, and they'd start to wash up, and I'd basically give them no choice but lift or we both crash. And but I kept it clean, though, and then, when I was in front of them going into the corner, I was just mirror driving. I mean, I was watching in the mirror more than I was watching out front. So they'd follow me off in the corner, and I'd try to match their line even though I was leading. And once they'd follow me in like that, the nose just takes off on these things. So if I drove into the corner and they were right in my tire tracks, I knew that they'd start to wash up on corner exit. And it went really, really well until that fuel run there at the end. But props to Josh. I mean, I can't believe he made that work. I figured that, at least if somebody made it work, there'd probably be 3 or 4. So I got a false sense of hope because, I saw like 5th would pit and then 3rd and then 2nd. I was like, oh man, everybody's in. I'm P2 now. Surely he can't make it. And I kept looking at the interval. I'd take 2 or 3 seconds out of him every lap, and, well, he made it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been a very good start to the season as well for you. I mean, obviously pole and a lights the flag victory at Chicagoland. Got another pole and a solid P2, so 2 podiums in a row to start off the season will put you definitely in a commanding points lead. How do you look to sort of kick on in the next few races and throughout the rest of the regular season and looking towards the playoffs as well, potentially?
Yeah, I just want to stay consistent. I knew that these first couple tracks would be pretty good for me, Chicagoland and Kentucky, because I'm usually pretty decent at mile and a halves. Talladega next week is going to be anybody's game, so who knows? I doubt that the podium streak continues there unless I get pretty lucky, but Yeah, we've got an interesting list of races coming up here because we got Red Bull Ring after Talladega, then Darlington. So Darlington, I'll be pretty good at. I'm pretty confident in that. Red Bull Ring, who knows who'll be fast there. So the next couple weeks will be really wild. I don't expect this performance to continue, or at least I'm not as confident in it, but I'm going to try my best nonetheless. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the season started. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, so I didn't know if I'd hop in here and be a 10th place car or 20th place car or first place car. So I'm glad we're the latter.
Definitely. Well, it's definitely a good start to the season. 2 podiums on the bounce. Anyone you want to thank for yet another appearance in the interview booth for car number 95?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys here for commentating and doing the broadcast, and obviously Chad for doing everything he does for the league. Shout out to Runnings Racing Designs. He's got the paint scheme on the car. This was my Indianapolis car from the real life ARCA race in 2024. And then a little self plug. I kind of did it last week too, but I have got a huge real life racing announcement coming on Thursday morning at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So my socials at Presley Sora. Stay on the lookout for those, and I promise it's pretty exciting. So we'll see you there.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on another podium, Presley, and thanks very much for your time.
Right on. Thank you.
All right, and now our winner tonight for his first win in 917 days in Elite, Josh Clark. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling really good. And I will clarify that win 917 days ago was in a different league. That was not Elite. I have never won an Elite points race in like 7 years.
Oh, our stats were wrong. We thought it was
Blame Robert.
an Xfinity race.
Okay,
No.
actually, hold on.
What?
Let me get the correct number for you, because Josh does have an Elite Racing League victory.
I have a Cadillac Talladega night race win with like 8 car count or something, and everybody died, and I just was on the track.
Cadillac. What, the sports car?
Yeah.
At Talladega?
Yeah, we were drafted like it's Daytona. Well, like it's
There you go.
Talladega, but
1,870 days, and there were 17 cars in that field, sir.
there you go. Yeah, I'm stoked. That was a ton of fun. I obviously was EOL at the start for Banner. I got wrecked at like the halfway point or a little before. Didn't get smoked after the wreck, which is great. But I did get smoked on that last restart. I don't know if you guys saw that on the broadcast or not. I've got to watch it back. But I got like clobbered, and me and everybody around me, to not cause a yellow, lost like 4 or 5 seconds to the rest of the field. Like we were dead in the water unless there was a yellow. So I was like, oh, well, whatever. I've got damage. Let me just coast it around. We'll get a yellow eventually. And then once I saw the fuel number was relatively close within like 3 laps of what I had in my tank, I just, backed off early. I wasn't clutching it yet or anything until about 20 to go. Once the 9 car called out that he was pitting from that lead pack, I was committed to at that point. I'm like, well, he's going to pass me if I don't make it, or even if I pit. So if I want to win the race, which is why I show up every week, that's the only thing I can do. So I started clutching it in turn 1, just because you could coast in there without any brake really easily. There was no chance of me making really a mistake there or anything weird like that. 3, I was a little wary about it first because you got to use a little brake, and I don't know, not super coordinated, so didn't want to mess around there, but. Yeah, about 15 to go, I started doing it in turn 3 as well. Had teammates, my Pro Edge teammates in Discord calling out the intervals back to both to Jaden at first. I knew he was in a little bit worse fuel situation than me, so once I passed him, I wasn't super worried. But then they called out that Sora was coming. He had some tires, and they're just telling me the interval, and I was just doing my best. I think with 4 to go, he was 16 back. I'm like, I can give up 4 seconds. I could do that. And yeah, we did it. We ran out right off of 4. Basically, as soon as I knew I could throttle up, I did, and it cut off immediately. So I'm stoked. This is great.
Yeah, at first we were focusing mainly on Jaden because he was in front of you and going a lot slower. We saw you just kind of blow by him. So it was kind of a question mark whether you were just that much more confident on fuel or what was going on. But yeah, that was a basically a true back to front win, and just in the most dramatic fashion possible. So that's
Oh yeah.
that's crazy. I'm very happy for you to have gotten that. I'm very happy to have gotten that kind of strategy to win a race here. I was hoping for a green flag run all race, and we finally got one at the end. So
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt like good. You know what I mean? Like, this is tough stuff. I'm like, I stepped myself down the ARCA so I could finally win a race. You know, Cup was super competitive. I've been doing this for Elite for a long time. You know, it used to be like, yeah, whatever. I'll just show up and not crash and get a top 10. You make the playoffs and you make it to the second round just by being consistent. But like, that's just not the case anymore. You can't do that. You actually have to like, be solid. And I don't really race much at all other than the weekly league race, right? And I'm lucky to get a full hour of practice. Usually it's somewhere in the 30-minute range, and I just go for it, right? So I'm it's awesome. Like, every caution I'm clutching it, turn the car off. It's like instinct to me, and I'm happy that finally has paid off for once, because every tenth of a gallon mattered. Like, if I had a tenth less, I would not have won this race. So yeah, I mean, it's just ingrained in me just to do it, and I'm just so happy that I do that, because here I am.
yeah, with the way that Elite is these days, any win in any series is definitely something to be proud of. So big congratulations to you. Any sponsors you want to thank and shout outs you want to give?
You can see the car was blank. Obviously, I just bought the car before the race last week. Haven't figured out a paint scheme yet. Had Bucky's on the car at the end of last season. I'm sure that's going to show back up in some way, shape, or form. So that's fun. No real sponsors though. Otherwise, it's just fun stuff. Got to give a shout out to everybody in the Pro Edge Racing Discord. I know that it's Pro Edge and some adjacent teams. They're all buddies. We've all been hanging out. Well, at least with me once a week for the last handful of years. Those guys are super supportive, super fast. They make me better. Love racing with them. Love every single one of them. And yeah, shout out to my wife for putting up with me and the fact that I was screaming my head off 20 minutes ago and not getting too mad at me. But yeah, and shout out to you guys for the broadcast you put on and everything that goes into making this league run.
All right. Well, congratulations one more time, and hope we see you up here again in the future.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that was Josh Clark, our winner here at Kentucky for the Kentucky Bluegrass 187, whatever the name Robert gave it. Battle of the Bluegrass State 187. There you go. But yeah, final thoughts, guys.
I'll let you start, Will.
Way more. That was way more fun than I think I anticipated. Sort of a further way into the race, we got those restart crashes, and I thought, great, I'm going to be absent from the broadcast again because I'm telling everyone. But those last sort of 60 odd laps was super fun to commentate and sort of dissect with you two, and then the most bonsai pit strategy that no one really saw coming, at least no one anticipated to worked for Josh Clark, and he's got his first win in over half a decade. So that is really cool for him, and for Pro Edge as well. Usually it's Ethan and Matthew and Taylor that are winning all the races, so it's cool for Josh to get one for his team as well. Definitely a much better outing than Chicagoland, so improvement for sure from these drivers. It is the development series after all, and we are seeing development, and that is the main objective of this series, for as much as there is a points fight and whatnot, and it's no more than bragging rights. The main objective of this is to develop, to become better. And I think a lot of these drivers have really strutted their stuff tonight, and it was awesome to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Will. It was a very rocky start to tonight's race, picking up 6 cautions in the first half or so, and then we were really able to clean it up, and we actually got a green flag stop in, which was pleasantly surprising to see. And for a guy like Josh Clark to come out here, and like he said, he was reevaluating his sim racing career, took the step down to the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by DesignPing here on the Elite Racing Network, and gave himself a chance to really find himself again. And every time he's out here, he's shown that he is a good driver. He's a competitive driver. And if he opts to make that jump back up to the Belly Up Sports Cup Series, in the future, I really feel like he's going to have a bit more confidence and more strength to be able to compete more regularly for top 5s, top 10s, maybe even victories in the future. But I'm very happy for Josh to get that win, and for Jaden Racimas to have the run that he did with the strategy that he tried to put into play. That was a great effort by him, just a couple of laps short, and we could have been talking about his first Elite Racing League victory. Presley Sora with another great run. Jacob Adams up there as well, and a lot of other guys. Austin and Abnett, a guy that really impressed me tonight as well, finished in the 8th position, up 31 spots. That's a very impressive run for him. Carlos Acosta in the top 10 as well in 9th. Some very, very solid runs. And if this is what we're going to see at the start of the season, can't wait to see what we have going forward. Obviously, we're off next week, but we'll be back in 2 weeks from Talladega, which is a crapshoot all around. And we'll see what those drivers can do there. But a very good night here in the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by DesignPing. Alayton, final thoughts from you.
Yeah, absolutely. What all you guys said. I'm glad that this race was as long as it was. It's definitely longer than the average 1.5 mile race that we have in Elite, which is interesting for the development series, but I'll take it. With the way that first half went with all the yellows, I mean, if you just look at the way that we finished, 12 cars on the lead lap, there was a lot of carnage in this race, but it was long enough that we still had a long enough run, green flag run, to need pit stops or to have some extreme fuel saving to finish the race. And I think that's the most exciting way a race can end without cars side by side. So I'm very happy for Josh. A first win is always something to kind of celebrate. I know it's going to be coming for Jaden at some point soon. He's kind of been improving a lot over the past couple seasons for sure, and it's kind of inevitable at this point in some series or another. But yeah, this turned out to be a good race. Didn't have any of that netcode nonsense from last week at Chicagoland. So I think we're in good shape for the rest of the season, and I am looking forward to seeing what happens. But that's going to end it here for us here at Kentucky Speedway in the RevLimit Workshop Development Series presented by DesignPing. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next race, which is not next week, at, I believe, Talladega.